Have you ever felt like dating isn't just a romantic journey, but a battlefield where every interaction feels like a test of power? You enter a relationship with hope and excitement. Yet before you know it, there's a constant tug of war, a subtle yet undeniable struggle for control. At first, it's confusing. Why does it feel like she's challenging you? Why does it seem like she wants to take the reins? And you, being the man society has conditioned you to be, think, it's fine, no big deal. I'll let it slide. You convince yourself to act logical, to stay composed, to not make waves. But without even realizing it, the dynamic shifts entirely. Suddenly, you find yourself following her lead, meeting her demands, and losing your sense of authority in the relationship. And here's the heartbreaking twist. When she holds all the power, she starts looking for a way out. You're left standing in the aftermath, wondering what went wrong. You sit in silence, replaying the relationship in your mind, and the bitterness creeps in. Women are manipulative, you tell yourself. They only care about looks, money, and power. Never trust them. But let me tell you something, my brother. That voice in your head isn't the truth. It's the pain talking. I know, because I've been there. I've lived this cycle. I'm not just describing your experience. I'm sharing mine. For years, I struggled with the same issues, stuck in relationships where I gave away my power, only to watch them crumble. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. If any of this resonates with you, stay with me. I've learned some hard truths, and I'm here to help you break free from this pattern. Let's dive into this together and build a version of yourself that commands respect, balance, and confidence in any relationship. Like this video, share it with a brother who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because trust me, this is just the beginning of what will change your life. When you step into the dating world, whether you're asking a woman out, engaging in a conversation, or building a relationship, there's an invisible power dynamic that begins to take shape. This isn't something sinister or combative, but rather a natural interplay of attraction, confidence, and boundaries. Understanding this dynamic is key to creating a meaningful and magnetic connection with women. Let me explain this concept more deeply. If you've been following my series on attraction, you'll know that one of the most powerful subconscious forces driving a woman's interest is her evolutionary wiring to seek strength in a partner. This strength isn't just physical, it's emotional, psychological, and social resilience. Women, on some level, are constantly looking for signals that you're someone who can handle challenges, protect what you value, and remain composed under pressure. Now, here's the interesting part. Women often test for this strength, and they do so in subtle, sometimes unexpected ways. These tests aren't usually deliberate. They're unconscious behaviors that stem from her natural instincts. Think of it this way. If you wanted to know whether someone is strong or capable, you might create a scenario to see how they react. For example, you might joke around with a friend or challenge them to a friendly competition. If they crumble under pressure or take things too seriously, you might doubt their resilience. But if they handle the situation with confidence, humor, and grace, you'll naturally admire their strength. The same principle applies in dating. A woman might test you by being late to a date, making a teasing comment, or acting a bit distant to see how you'll respond. These moments aren't about malice or manipulation. They're her way of assessing your character and confidence. Will you stay grounded and secure? Or will you react with frustration or insecurity? Here's where many men misunderstand the dynamic. They interpret these tests as battles for control, as if they're in a competition to win against a woman. This mindset creates unnecessary tension and often leads to frustration. Let me offer you a better way to approach this. Instead of seeing it as a struggle, think of it as a dance. In a dance, both partners have roles that complement each other. There's no need to dominate or overpower. It's about leading with confidence, rhythm, and presence while allowing space for mutual expression. When you approach dating with this mindset, you'll find it easier to navigate challenges and build deeper connections without feeling like you're constantly defending your position. So, how can you embody this mindset in practice? The foundation lies in maintaining your standards and understanding the concept of reward and punish. This principle is simple yet powerful. Women are drawn to men who value themselves and who won't compromise their boundaries to avoid discomfort or conflict. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine you've planned a date, but at the last minute, the woman calls to say she might not be able to make it. How would you respond? Many men, eager to avoid confrontation or seem accommodating, might say something like, "No problem, we can reschedule." While this response appears polite, it can unintentionally signal that you're willing to tolerate disrespect or inconsistency. Over time, this lowers your perceived value because it shows a lack of self-respect. Instead, consider a response that asserts your standards without being confrontational. For instance, you could say, "I understand things come up, but I value my time and appreciate people who respect it. Let me know if you'd like to make plans again in the future." This statement is firm but not aggressive. It shows that you're confident in yourself and won't tolerate behavior that undermines your values. If you want to inject a bit of playful confidence into the situation, you might say, "Canceling last minute? You're testing your chances with me," and then leave the conversation there. If she truly values the connection, she'll likely reflect on her actions and reach out to apologize. If she does, you can set the tone moving forward by saying something like, "I appreciate the apology. Let's make sure next time goes a bit more smoothly." The key here is to maintain composure and avoid emotional overreactions. Setting boundaries isn't about punishing someone in a harsh or punitive way. It's about signaling that you value yourself and expect mutual respect in return. When you do this, you naturally command more respect and admiration from others. But let's take this a step further. What if, instead of just reacting to her behavior, you proactively create a dynamic where respect and attraction flourish? This involves cultivating qualities like emotional intelligence, humor, and a sense of purpose. Women are deeply drawn to men who have a strong sense of identity and who approach life with passion and confidence. Remember, the goal isn't to control or manipulate someone into liking you. Authentic attraction is about being the best version of yourself and inviting someone to join you in that journey. By maintaining your standards, communicating with confidence, and embracing the playful, dynamic nature of relationships, you set the stage for a connection that's both magnetic and meaningful. So, the next time you find yourself navigating a tricky moment in dating, pause and remind yourself, this isn't a battle, it's a dance. Lead with grace, confidence, and self-respect, and watch how effortlessly the connection begins to flow. Let's consider another common scenario. Imagine you're out on a date, and instead of being engaged in the moment with you, she's constantly taking calls or texting. This behavior shows a lack of focus and respect for your time together. What should you do? Don't react with frustration or demand her attention directly. This will only make you appear needy. Instead, calmly excuse yourself and redirect your energy to something else. Perhaps strike up a conversation with someone nearby, or if the situation calls for it, step away entirely. Here's why this works. If a woman is genuinely interested in you, she'll notice your shift in attention and naturally adjust her behavior. She'll likely put her phone away and re-engage with you, realizing that your time and presence are valuable. On the flip side, if she continues to prioritize her phone or other distractions, it's a clear signal that she doesn't value the interaction as much as you do. At that point, it's worth questioning whether she's truly the right person for you. This principle works both ways. Just as you subtly discourage behaviors you dislike, you should also reward actions that align with your preferences. Positive reinforcement can be incredibly powerful in shaping the dynamics of a relationship. For instance, if you suggest you wear a specific dress to your date and she follows through, acknowledge it with a sincere compliment. You could say something like, "I told you that dress would look amazing on you. It's perfect." This small gesture not only shows appreciation, but also subtly encourages her to align with your preferences in the future. Over time, if you consistently reinforce behaviors you appreciate while discouraging those you don't, you'll naturally see her gravitating toward the things that strengthen your connection. However, It's crucial to understand that this isn't about control or manipulation. You're not forcing her to act a certain way or dictating her choices. Instead, you're setting boundaries and communicating your standards through your actions. For example, if she does something you dislike, like flaking on plans last minute, you don't argue or try to guilt her into compliance. Instead, you enforce a consequence, such as taking a step back or distancing yourself for a while. This isn't about punishment in the harsh sense. It's about demonstrating that you value your time and won't compromise your self-respect. By walking away or temporarily withdrawing your attention, you allow her to reflect on her actions and make her own choice about how to move forward. Here's a key distinction. Strong men don't seek approval. They don't bend over backward to make others comfortable at the expense of their own standards. They operate from a place of self-assurance. And this independence is incredibly attractive. When a woman encounters a man who upholds his boundaries, she instinctively respects him more because it signals strength and confidence. But this approach requires consistency and follow-through. If you say you expect an apology for a particular action, stick to that expectation. Don't waver or accept excuses in place of genuine accountability. Women are incredibly perceptive and can quickly tell the difference between a man who stands by his word and one who folds under pressure. Consistency is especially important when it comes to maintaining your own rules. If you establish a certain boundary but then break it yourself, whether out of convenience or to avoid conflict, it undermines your credibility. For example, if you decide that last-minute cancellations are unacceptable but later brush one off without addressing it, you're essentially signaling that your standards are negotiable. This not only weakens her respect for you, but also diminishes your self-respect. By practicing the reward and punish theory with intention and consistency, you'll gradually notice a shift in the relationship dynamic. She'll begin to internalize which behaviors earn your appreciation and which don't, often without even realizing it. This isn't manipulation. It's a natural process of building mutual respect and alignment in your relationship. Unfortunately, many men fail in this area because they confuse kindness with approval seeking. They reward women indiscriminately, even when the woman hasn't earned it. For example, a nice guy might shower a woman with expensive dinners, gifts, or favors, even if she only sees him as a friend or doesn't reciprocate his interest. This behavior stems from a fear of losing her attention, but it ultimately backfires because it signals a lack of self-worth. Instead of bending over backward to win her approval, focus on being authentic and intentional with your actions. If she earns your admiration through her behavior, reward her with genuine appreciation. But if she falls short of your standards, let her feel the natural consequences of those actions without resorting to anger or desperation. The key to mastering this dynamic is balance. You're not controlling her or manipulating her choices. You're showing her that you have self-respect and won't compromise your values to keep her comfortable. This balance of confidence, boundaries, and appreciation creates a magnetic dynamic that naturally draws her closer while maintaining your integrity. In the end, relationships thrive when built on mutual respect and shared values. By leading with strength, consistency, and authenticity, you'll not only attract the right person, but also create a connection that's deeply fulfilling for both of you. But here's the undeniable truth. One technique alone will never be enough. When it comes to interactions with women, or anyone, for that matter, your ability to hold your ground and protect your self-worth is everything. Far too many men unknowingly sabotage themselves, falling into submissive roles without even realizing it. Why does this happen? It's because we've been socially conditioned to adapt automatically to our environment, to react emotionally instead of deciding consciously. Think about this. In relationships, especially romantic ones, there's often an invisible pressure to shift your behavior. You might open up emotionally and think you're just falling in love, but what's really happening is that you're starting to prioritize her over yourself. Society romanticizes this dynamic, calling it sacrifice or devotion. But in reality, when you give away too much of your power, you lose the very thing that made her attracted to you in the first place. Picture a man meeting a beautiful woman. He's confident, playful, even a little mysterious qualities that instantly spark her interest. They laugh, connect, and exchange numbers. She's intrigued, eagerly anticipating their next interaction. But as days turn into weeks, something shifts. The man becomes emotionally invested, too invested. He starts prioritizing her above everything else. He's always available, answering every call and rearranging his schedule to accommodate hers. At first, she enjoys the attention, but soon, she notices the change. The confident, self-assured man she was drawn to is no longer there. In his place is someone insecure, someone needy, someone afraid to lose her. Without consciously realizing it, her attraction starts to fade. She becomes distant. Excuses replace excitement. And before long, she's seeing someone else, leaving him heartbroken and confused about what went wrong. What went wrong? He fell into the trap of being overly available, overly accommodating, overly submissive. He put her on a pedestal and, in doing so, lowered his own value. And here's the harsh truth. No woman will remain attracted to a man who doesn't value himself. It's not something they consciously decide. It's instinctive. The reality is that women are naturally wired to test a man's strength of character. She'll push boundaries, challenge your decisions, and gauge how steady you are under pressure. These aren't malicious acts. They're subconscious ways of ensuring you're the person you appear to be. So, what's the solution? Never crumble under these tests. Never bend into a submissive role, no matter how much you care about her. Here's the ultimate principle. Never let yourself believe that she, or anyone, is special enough to compromise your self-worth. That's not to say you shouldn't care for her or build a meaningful connection. It's about balance. If you prioritize her over your own respect and identity, you're setting yourself up for failure. Imagine if, instead, our hypothetical man had stayed grounded. Imagine he had continued to pursue his own goals, maintained his own independence, and shown her that while he cared for her, he would never sacrifice his core self for her approval. She wouldn't have drifted. Her attraction would have deepened because she would have seen a man who knew his value and refused to compromise it. This is the essence of true power, the ability to hold on to yourself no matter who you're with. The world is filled with amazing women, but the moment you allow one person to dictate your worth, you lose sight of what makes you valuable in the first place. So, take this to heart. Always hold your power. Always respect yourself first. And if she tries to push you into a submissive role, walk away without hesitation. A truly valuable man isn't afraid to lose someone because he knows his worth is non-negotiable. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You've taken the first step toward reclaiming your power. Don't stop here. Hit that like button, share this video with a friend who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more powerful insights. Turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update. We're here to help you unlock the truth about who you really are. Stay sharp, stay strong, and most importantly, stay in control. Until next time,